Hello there, Scorpio. Thank you for stopping by for your weekly tarot video for May 4th through the 10th. I am using the Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg once a day, and we have such a good card for Monday. Yay! We have the Sun. Woohoo! Okay, so the Sun just means that Monday we have a very productive day. We get to do things that we enjoy doing. When we're done with the day, we're happy with what we've gotten accomplished. We're just feeling encouraged and empowered on Monday. We're feeling fully supported on Monday. It's just a magical, magical, magical kind of day. Wonderful, wonderful. So glad that we have a good day. I'm getting to where I almost dread doing our readings. Can you tell by how excited I am about seeing the Sun? Now, the next card we have coming up on Tuesday, we have the Fool, and we have the Fool in reverse. I think all of you know on the Fool in reverse. So basically the Fool in reverse means that we have some kind of situation that we know exactly how to handle, and we know this intuitively, but it is not necessarily logical. And so with this card coming up in reverse, what we're doing is we're ignoring the inner knowing and we're sticking with that logical box on Tuesday. So yeah, that kind of bums me out. Honestly, I would much rather see us, just take that leap of faith and trust that inner knowing and do that thing. So the good news here is that for those of you who are watching this before Tuesday, we have the chance to, when we notice that energy coming in that's putting us in that logical box, to rebel against that. We have free will. And so what we can do is we can rebel against that and we can say, no, I'm going to follow my intuition and this is what I'm doing, and take that leap of faith. So that's the good thing about getting these readings ahead of time, right? So now on Wednesday, we have the Death card on Wednesday. And I was actually studying astrology and tarot over the weekend, kind of the combination of both. And what I discovered is that the Death card is actually the Scorpio's card. This is our tarot card for our sign. And so this really, like I've always said, it represents transformation. And if you've studied anything about us Scorpios, you know that we really go deep, and that when we make transformations, they're huge transformations. They're way down to the gut level and working their way out. And that really is what the Death card is talking about, is that kind of transformation. So on Wednesday, what we have coming into our lives is that transformation of core values, really evaluating some of our core values and seeing some that aren't working for us and just pitching them, throwing them away. Oh, that's not productive. Get it out. And then finding something that works for us and filling in that empty hole with something that actually is productive and healthy. So it's a very good card. It can be uncomfortable because it does involve change, and change can have all these unknowns around it, which we as humans don't necessarily like, but always for the best. And always, once you let this change flow through into your life as you make this transformation, you find on the other side that you're happier and that you're able to be more productive because of this change. So it really is a good process to go through. Now, also what I'm being prompted to remind people is, typically transformations like this that are at that deep, deep level, like we like to work with, usually take more than a day. So this is showing up on Wednesday. That doesn't mean it's going to be all said and done on Wednesday. I'm feeling like for most of us this is going to be a process, but we're going to be very aware of that process on Wednesday, and I feel like it is going to take a couple of weeks for some of us, up to a couple, 3 months for others of us, with this process that we're going through where we're making this core change. Now, Thursday, what we have showing up is we have the Two of Clubs in reverse. And the Two of Clubs in reverse is really talking about, it really talks about making a decision and procrastinating on that decision. And the type of decision we're making with the Two of Clubs is we're trying to decide between two things that we feel very passionate about. I've seen this come up as people, I've seen this come up as ideas, I've seen it come up as projects. Whatever it is, it's something that we feel very passionate about. And we want to move forward. We would love to move forward with both of these things that we have to choose between. But the reason that we have to choose is that they both require a lot of our energy and our effort and our attention. And if we don't choose between one or the other, we're not going to have enough resources to be able to move forward with either one of them. So that's why we have to choose one or the other and make that one the one that we focus all of our extra energy and resources into, attention and all of that good stuff. Okay, so that's Thursday. And then Friday, what we have coming up is the High Priestess. No big surprise for us Scorpios. Most of us water signs, we're all intensely psychic anyway. Whether you've actually realized it yet or not may be another story, but we typically are. And so on Friday, what I'm feeling like is that we're really going to be having some insights that are coming in at that intuitive level that are going to be very important to us. So these are going to be key insights that help us to move forward more productively. We're not talking about just the little bitty things or just enough to, you know, make your neighbor at work kind of drop their jaw and say, how did you know that? You know, we're talking about some of these inner revelations that really help us to propel ourselves forward in life. So that's what I see. So basically that could come in during meditation, that could come in as just psychic information, however you happen to receive, whether you're clairvoyant, clairaudient, whatever, but definitely an insight coming in from sacred source or a great spirit to help us move forward in a more productive way with our lives. And then on Saturday, what we have is the Magician. The Magician is a really wonderful card. This talks about taking what we have at hand and making what we want from it. So it just really, when this card comes up, this says that whatever our desires are, we have the resources to make that desire happen. So in other words, get off our butts, quit expecting other people to do it or spirit to bring it in. We have the resources. It's up to us to do that. So on Saturday, I see us manifesting some things for ourselves through the resources that we already have. Now, Sunday, the Hierophant in reverse. This just means that we are going to be rebelling against the old tradition stuff. We're not going to be happy with doing something just because it's always been done that way. Which reminds me of this little story. I read this a long time ago. I couldn't tell you where I read this, but there was a story talking about tradition, and it was talking about like Thanksgiving or Christmas. I'm not sure which holiday, because I mean I was a teenager when I read this. It was a long time ago. And anyway, the story was about how this family cooked the ham. And so every year the family would cut like maybe 4 or 5 inches off of the ham that they had bought in the store and cook the big part of the ham. And that was their holiday tradition whenever they cooked the ham. So, you know, time passed, years go by, years go by, years go by, people grow up, they go off, they start their own thing, they move out, blah, blah, blah. And so the tradition gets passed on, and the next generation is starting to host for the Thanksgiving or the Christmas dinner, whatever it is. And so somebody cuts off the 4 or 5 inches of the ham and then cooks the rest. And someone who was new into this family asked, well, you know, someone who married in or what have you, you know, asked, well, why do you cut the end off? And so what they were told is, well, because that's the way we've always done it. We don't exactly know why. So they started asking around. So they asked the matriarch of the family, who had been the one who started the tradition of cutting off the end of the ham. Okay, so guess what? The reason they cut off the end of the ham every single year for decades now was because her pan was not big enough, her roasting pan was not big enough to hold a whole ham. So here they are decades later with roasting pans that are bigger, still cutting off the end. So that's what this card made me think of, the Hierophant in reverse. We're not happy with doing things the same way they've always been done just because they've always been done that way. We're in rebellion to that. So on Sunday I see us being really reaching to do things in a better way than what they've been done before, not just limiting that this is the way it's always been, this must be the best way. We're thinking about what could be better here. Okay, so Scorpios, that is your week. For those of you who would like to get a private reading with me, please check out my website first. Make sure I'm the best reader for you. I'm at amista.info, amista.info. Once you have looked around there, if you still feel like I'm the best reader for you, go ahead and contact me and we will schedule a session for you as quickly as possible. And for everybody else, I'll see you all here next week. Everyone, have a good week. Peace out.